She saw her touch my penis. Today, perfect husbands and porn.
I'm Cass.
And I'm Kathryn. And you're allowing bitterness and resentment to build up.
Your perspectives need reality checks. I want you to stop saying I'm going to become my best version.
We're Morrow Marriage.
Let's flip divorce statistics with the new marriage.
Welcome to the Morrow Marriage podcast, guys. And today I've got such a solid episode for you. This is going to be something that Kathryn and I feel very strongly about, that most people often, because of society, are going to fight us on. But if you want the new marriage, guys, we're going to give you the new rules, okay? So the title of the episode, honey, is She Saw Her Touch My Penis.
She saw her touch my penis. Whoa.
Yeah, whoa, scary, right? No, it's our daughter. Our daughter saw Kathryn touching me.
Oh.
Now, with clothes on, okay? But Kathryn was flirting one day and she did a little...
I just grabbed him through the pants.
Yeah. And how did Vale respond?
Vale said, Mama, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, silly mama.
It was...
I was like, that was weird, wasn't it, Vale? And she was like, yeah. She came over and gave me a big hug.
It was quite entertaining, actually. We were both rolling, laughing, but of course had to talk about, husbands and wives. And why is this important, guys? Many of you have no problem fighting in front of your children or bringing the tension in front of your children. And when you show affection, you hold back and you filter it, especially if things are bad and there is no affection. Children need to see a healthy balance. Children need to see the tension. Sure, there could be tension between us.
But they need to see the repair.
They need to see the repair.
Yeah.
They need to see what it's like normally as well. You guys, this is...
And I don't necessarily think that she needs to see me grab you in the penis through the pants, but I get what you're saying. And it's so true, because people will allow their children to watch violence in a movie. And I'm not saying let your children watch.
Good God, no.
No. But where are your limits? If you don't want them to have violence, why are you letting them see it? Mm-hmm. Yet you'll be watching a movie and there might be an intimate scene. You might fast forward, you might not, if it's not too pornographic, you might let your kids see some things. But where is the disconnect? You want your kids to grow up and have a happy marriage, so they should see a happy marriage. They should see affection, hugging, kissing. They
Flirting,
don't need to see full-on makeouts and anything inappropriate. But the connection I'm trying to get you to make is, what is it that you want your kids to see? Mm-hmm. You don't want to kiss in front of them, but you're going to let them watch violent movies.
Or show your own violence. How many of you are like, I have to leave because of the kids, or you've thought about it because this is not healthy for them? Well, that's showing them a difference. Kids see everything. Mm-hmm. And so many of you, this is why I said this is one of our quote unquote rules, because, so many people don't realize that we're not showing children enough love. Just like Kathryn, just like you said with the TV, social media is destroying relationships. We're going to talk about cheating, one of the episodes that we're filming today. And because of social media, because of television and movies, you think cheating is more prevalent than it actually is. I can't wait to go through numbers for you. It's going to be a fun little game I'm going to play with your insecure mind. And the thing is, your children are seeing that tension, right? When you're scrolling on your phone and doing whatever, when the phone's more interesting and you don't laugh the same way with your partner, your spouse, what is it that you want your children to see? Mm-hmm. I had a great call with a man today, and he was trying to talk about the normal. Well, I don't want to be hitting because my dad hit, I don't want to be drinking because my parents drink a lot. And I was like, you can't create what you want by doing the opposite of bad and crazy, because that's the other end of crazy. That's why you end up loving so much, and I'm going to go so hardcore on this, and then you don't follow through because it's not really reasonable. Right? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. What was it? Was the very first time we thought about this was we were in and out of our shitstorms, but we had your niece over, right? And first they kiss, then they lick.
First they lick and then they kiss. Yeah. So what she saw was when we would kiss, we weren't doing a full-on makeout, but we had open mouth kiss and they could see our tongues touch. Mm-hmm. And it was totally appropriate. There was nothing that they shouldn't see. And it was your son and my quote unquote niece that they used to hang out all the time. They were little. They were 3 and 4 or 4 and 5. They were little, and they used to see it all the time. And they'd always just look. And then one day they were first they lick and then they kiss. And then they just thought it was so sweet. And we thought it was so sweet because they they saw it adoringly. Like they
That's
saw
right.
us in love. So even when we had those shitstorms, there was still a lot of love.
Now, I'm going to go to part 2 of this. Okay. First, the little sponges get to see what real love can look like. Okay. They can see intent. They can see commitment. Okay. But here's what it does for you. Part 2 is they get to have the opportunity to be taught. Okay. What I mean by that is, where did the conversation go with Vale? Husbands and wives, right? I don't know about you, but Kathryn and I both wish we didn't have, other relationships, let's say, before marriage,
Absolutely.
right? We wish we saved ourselves, right? We want to instill that value on our children. And how do we get to do that? Every time there's a conversation that most parents would be afraid to have, we're not.
Well, it was uncomfortable.
It wasn't comfortable.
He's my husband, so I touched him there, but it was silly. Mama didn't mean for you to see that, but he's my husband and I love him, and mamas and duas, mummies and daddies, whatever you call it. That's what they do. Right. And so it's she's 5. So that's as far as that conversation goes. She was just very confused why that was happening. And I was like, it was an awkward conversation, but it was also a very cute conversation.
Yeah. But here's the thing. This can go much bigger because your children will grow up, right? This reminds me of the billboard that we had in Kelowna that was like job, sex, roommates, enemies, whatever. And somebody got really upset that it says sex on there because she had to have a conversation with her daughter. And
16-year-old daughter.
Yeah. And she was very, very sweet in the DMs about it. Just please politely, can you take it down? I shouldn't have to have a conversation about this with my 16-year-old daughter. She's not ready for sex, blah, blah, blah. I politely and said, well, first I gave her gratitude for the way she sent the message. And then I said, I politely disagree. Okay. Because I didn't say politely. I don't know what the word was.
You did.
I was polite and I disagreed. And I told her why. I said, there are children that are learning about sex from pornography because parents are too afraid to have these conversations. And they're learning it much younger than your daughter.
The statistics show that little boys specifically see porn as early as the age of 7.
Yeah.
So your kids, they know about sex. And so I would hope that the first time that they hear about it is at home. I know that that's not what happens, but that would be the ideal. So if your child sees something, and there have been stories where children have walked in on their parents having sex. Okay, we don't want that, but you know what? Is it the end of the world for you to have to? It's embarrassing. Is it the end of the world for you to have to have that conversation? I love your dad so much, and we're really sorry that you saw that. I don't ever want to have that conversation. No. It's traumatizing for them and for the parents, I'm sure, but it's much better than them watching pornography. Them experiencing something at home, whatever that level is, appropriate or not, is better than what currently is happening in the world.
Here's why this could be really important, because although, as early as 7 is when they see the porn, that 7-year-old then touches a 4-year-old. And that 4-year-old has a healthy conversation like we have with what marriage is about, husbands and wives. We're not going into specifics, but there's enough to know. Why do you think Vale looked at Mama and said, why are you touching them there? Because she knows that she's not supposed to touch those parts because we've had conversations. And
she's at this perfect stage in her life where she looked right at me and asked the question.
Because she's safe enough to have those
How beautiful
questions.
Is that?
That's beautiful. Guys, this 16-year-old was then able to talk to her mom, and her mom had a great conversation before things got out of hand and actually needed a conversation. Her daughter was just too afraid. Our children are not afraid, and we want that for you guys. So start by showing them what love looks like. And that could be incredibly hard for so many of you. If that's the case, get in my program, get in Kathryn's program, read our books, listen to more of these episodes, and start moving things forward, because you've got to start seeing things differently. You can't say you're a great mom or great dad if you're not willing to show them all the lessons that they need to learn, or they're going to start making, their version of crazy, trying not to do what they did, what they saw wrong from you.
I want to give a good example.
Yeah, please.
So while we don't want you, and please don't start grabbing each other's private parts in front of your kids.
That wasn't the goal.
No, that we don't want that. Our daughter, though, will say, when Dua hugs Mama, he squeezes her bum. Right, Mama? He squeezes your bum every time he hugs you, right? And I say, yes, because he loves me. This is how he shows love.
Because he's my husband.
And because
Vale doesn't go around hugging anybody and squeezing bums.
No.
Because she's not married.
No.
Okay? Because we take the opportunity.
We take the opportunity. But that's an example of appropriate. So hugging is appropriate. Kissing, not a full make out, but kissing. A butt smack, a butt pat, grab, whatever it is, show that level of intimacy to your partner in front of your kids and take an opportunity to talk about why that behavior is appropriate. Because that's your husband, that's your wife, and you love each other.
That's 100% it. I mean, if you guys, we're probably boring you. We're going on so far, but it's everything. Like, we pass each other as we're working sometimes in just a touch. Right?
I want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
When the babies were little, so we tell a lot of stories about how bad our marriage was, but any of you guys who are in a bad marriage, you know that there are glimmers of hope and there are shimmers of beautiful things. We had those. That's why we made it through, because we had the love bombs were something, I'll tell you. The love was strong. That's why I know he's capable. But we used to have this joke. I used to have this joke where if we did make out and, you know, the babies were in the swings or whatever, and we weren't doing anything inappropriate in front of the babies, but I'd look at them and say, it's how you were made, girls.
That's right. That's right.
So even if it was just, so even if I did grab his private part through his pants, I'm saying private part because I feel like I'm talking to my kids. If I grabbed his penis through his pants, we kind of are. That's how you were made.
Guys, go all the way in. Go all in. When you say I'm proud of you or great job or thank you, squeeze a hand, touch a face. You know, like, be who you want to be. Don't sit across the couch not talking, not getting close. Get close. You know, our kids still climb into bed all the time, and I was like, no, I'm sleeping next to my wife, right? And so you have to understand, like, the more you can share this, they're going to pick up on what's also possible, not just the shitstorm that a lot of you are listening to get out of.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See you next time.
Bye.